All right, welcome everybody to the November 25th, 2024 study session for the City of Mesa Planning and Zoning Board. We'll begin with a roll call. Chairs, myself, I am present. Vice Chair Pitcher, I do not believe is on yet. Board Member Peterson.
Here.
Board Member Montes.
Here.
Board Member Farnsworth.
Here.
And I believe we are, yes.
Chairs, if I could, this is actually the public hearing. We're not doing a study.
Oh, this is the you're right.
So, and it's November 25th. So if you just want to redo your intro piece.
Welcome everybody to the November 25th, 2024 public meeting for the City of Mesa Planning and Zoning Board. And I think I finished the roll call of what we had, and then we're just waiting on a couple to see if they'll show up. So with that, I'll turn the time over to staff for presentations. Does that work?
Sure. Chairs, the first presentation today is on the proposed amendments to Chapters 6, 7, 8, 81, and 87 of Title 11 of the Mesa Zoning Code. And this is related to adaptive reuse permit. And Rachel will do the presentation for the public, for the Planning and Zoning Board before we open up the public hearing. Can you hear Rachel?
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Okay. Oh, they turned it on.
Yep.
We're working now.
There we go.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members. Thanks for joining us today to do this virtual meeting. As Mary was mentioning, we have before you the adaptive reuse text amendments. And as you can recall, we had discussed this a few weeks ago. This was some state legislation that got passed last spring that we are bringing text amendments for to comply with those state laws. After we had last met with you, we received some clarification from the League of Cities the next day, actually stating that for the adaptive reuse bill, that multiple residence use is actually required for any adaptive reuse. So whether it is the multifamily reuse of a project, which is the entire reuse of a site for multifamily development, or an adaptive reuse, which would be a mixed-use component, that as well would have to contain a residential component to it. So based on that information, we had to revise some of the text amendments, and what those include is updating the definitions. So we updated those to clarify that residential use is required for both the multiple residence reuse and the adaptive reuse component. And we updated the affordable housing requirement section and reporting as well to address that multiple residence has to include and the adaptive reuse section has to include the multiple residence use, and 10% of that has to be for affordable housing. So would you like me to go back through the original presentation and kind of remind you of what the text amendment all includes, or is the summary of the changes sufficient for the board?
I would say the summary, but I'll let the other board members chime in if they disagree.
Agree.
Okay.
Agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Agree.
Well, then the next item on the agenda are some proposed amendments to some various chapters, and this has to do with general plan references. So as you know, the general plan was ratified by voters on November 5th, and just this last Thursday, our city council confirmed those votes and the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring up the presentation as well, and confirmed the general plan. So with that, what this text amendment includes is just revisions to some of the general terminology within the plan itself that talks about either, some design objectives. We had to change those to be in line with the current terms that are used in the general plan, such as urban design characteristics. We updated references to specific future land use designations. So instead of, referring to an employment character area, it would now refer to whatever the equivalent place type is, so regional employment center. We also updated references to street classifications. So currently in the MZO, it often references street classifications, and it says as identified in the general plan. But in fact, those are actually identified in the transportation master plan. So just updating the code to say that it's, based on the transportation master plan. And then the last part is revisions to the major general plan amendment procedures within the MZO. So in 2022, there was actually some legislation that got passed that changed the requirements for major general plan amendments. It used to be that you could only have one hearing within a year to consider all general plan amendments. So no matter when you applied for your general plan amendment, we would hold all of those at one single hearing within the year. And they updated that to say that now any major general plan amendment has to be heard within 12 months of the application being submitted. So we just updated that section to reflect what the state legislation now says regarding major general plan amendments. And that is really the entirety of those. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
I don't. Anybody else? No, I think we're good.
Thank you.
So Chair Ayers, those are the two agenda items for today. So I don't believe we've received any blue cards. Is that correct? We have not here in the chambers, and we have not online.
Okay, so I guess we can officially open the public meeting, but there are no blue cards, as you've just said, and there's no one in the room, correct?
That's correct.
All right, we can close public meeting and we can begin in discussion with the board. Are we looking to make an motion today on this one?
Yes, we are, Chair Ayers.
Okay. So open up for discussion, or if there's anyone who'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, I pulled up the agenda here. If once any discussion's over, I can read through for a motion. Does anyone have any questions before I do?
I do
No
not.
discussion for me.
Okay.
All right, go
You hear
for it,
me
sir.
all right?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Motion to approve the following items. Item 2A, proposed amendments to chapters 6, 7, 8, 81, and 87 of Title 11 of the Mesa City Code pertaining to adaptive reuse. The text amendments include but are not limited to adding Chapter 81, adaptive reuse permit, modifying land use tables to permit multiple residential use in commercial, industrial, and downtown districts if they qualify for an adaptive reuse permit, adding definitions for adaptive reuse permit, existing commercial office and mixed use building, low income housing, moderate income housing, and multiple residence reuse. Recommendation is adoption. Item 2B, proposed amendments to chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 30, 31, 42, 63, and 75 of Title 11 of the Mesa City Code pertaining to general plan references. The amendments include but are not limited to modifying development standard tables to remove references to the general plan, removing references to the general plan and replacing them with references to the transportation plan, updating terminology related to the general plan with new terminology used in the Mesa 2050 general plan, and modifying the timeframe for major amendment public hearings. Recommendation is adoption. And the motion was to approve those.
And we can do these both separately, correct? All right.
Chair Ayers, you can do them together or separately as a consent.
Okay.
Just for clarification, this is making a recommendation to City Council regarding the proposed text amendment. So
For adoption, yeah.
recommending to City Council.
For adoption, correct.
For adoption. All right, thank you, Troy, for the motion. Is there a second on that one?
Second.
All right, and then all in favor, and we'll just do a verbal vote. I'll start with myself. Yes, in favor. Let's do Board Member Peterson,
Yes.
Board Member Farnsworth,
Yes.
and Board Member Montes.
Yes.
And I think that's everybody, and that passes unanimously with everybody voting yes. Is there anything else that we need to cover today?
Nothing from staff, Chair Ayers.
All right, well, with that, I can request a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Myself, yes. Board Member Peterson,
Yes.
Yes.
Board Member Montez, yes. Board Member Farnsworth.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And sorry to staff that had to be there without us today. We appreciate you guys being there to do it.
We,
Have a great Thanksgiving.
we appreciate.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving. Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Thanks, everybody.